Hello, this is Neville again with our guided tour through the New Testament. We're looking at Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 through 48 today. Many different topics in this section. Last reading was the kingdom and believers. Today it will look at the kingdom and the law firstly, the Redeemer, the redeemed, and the religious. And the second topic today will be the kingdom and the Old Testament. In this section of the kingdom and the Old Testament, what Jesus is going to do is he's going to take the cobwebs off the Old Testament and show us how the law was meant to be. Years of rabbi interference almost has made it very difficult for us to identify. Under these different laws, we will look at murder. We'll see the basic concept, the broadened concept under each one. For instance, the law says do not murder. The broader concept will say, Jesus says that hating anyone is murder. So he'll talk about murder, adultery, divorce, oaths, retaliation, and love. Let's begin then with the first section, verse 17 through 20. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Listen to this absolute Jesus just gave us. If you don't do what I'm about to tell you, if you don't learn how to become children of the kingdom, you will never enter into the kingdom of heaven. Our first topic then is about anger. But I tell you, anyone who is angry with his brother is subject to judgment. You've heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, but whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says, you fool, will be liable to the hell of fire. Listen carefully there. He said, even if you call somebody a fool, something that we hear pretty commonly, I suppose we shouldn't even be able to call ourselves fools. If you call anyone a fool, you are liable to the hell of fire. There's a pretty bad absolute there, folks. Pay attention to that. Verse 23. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser, while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. Next topic is do not commit adultery. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body go into hell. Some people may ask the question, does Jesus really mean that? Absolutely. You see, Jesus knows what hell really is like. He can see ahead. He knows what people will experience in hell for all eternity. And so he really does mean it. And if you see it the way he sees it, I believe you would say the same with just as much meaning and conviction. Next is the divorce decree. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. And here's honest Abe. Again you have heard that it was said to those of old, You shall not swear falsely, but you shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is the footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. And then revenge. Sitting in that little bird cage. How did that bird ever trick me into this cage? You can imagine the revengeful thoughts going through that cat's mind. Verse 38. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak also. Let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. And then how much love should we give? There's a little gas tank of love in that person's hand, indicating Jesus' love for us. And obviously, love even to the extent of loving your enemies. You have heard that it was said, You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect. I pray that you would realize that we are in the kingdom, and these are the kingdom rules. And yes, they may not always be easy to live, but we do have the grace of God if we cannot make the standards and we ask God for forgiveness. I pray that you'll try your best to live by these kingdom principles. God bless. Have a great day.